In this video, I'll be comparing three 12-volt drills. My old rigid 12-volt drill I bought back about 10-15 years ago at Direct Tools. One of my personal favorites, the Milwaukee M12 Fuel hammer drill, and the brand new Skill 12-volt brushless drill, part of the 12-volt set I just purchased at Lowe's. We will be using what is not a medieval torture device, I promise, to do this test. I have 25 pounds of weight put on top of this device. This cup here at the base is used to put the drill into like such, with the drill bit in it. I raise this piece up and the weight forces it down in order to create a uniform pressure, so there is no variances between how much pressure I put on the drill. We know it's always going to be 25 pounds directly on this cup, which goes directly to the drill. In the first test, we're going to see how fast our drills drill this 3/4 inch paddle bit through a 6x6 treated piece of lumber. In the next test, I'm going to use this socket adapter right here, which goes into a 7/16 socket with these 6-inch lag screws to see how much time it takes each one of these drills to completely bury this lag screw into a 6x6. Power. In the final test, we'll be drilling a 2 1/8 inch hole with this spider hole saw bit into a small thin piece of pallet wood, and we're going to see which drill does that the quickest. So the Milwaukee drill has the most power of all three of these drills in my personal opinion. My older rigid brush drill falls short in power and speed and all that stuff. So it is number 3 out of these. But the Skill, it's really, really good at a cheap price and actually compares pretty closely to the Milwaukee with a lot of the drilling and driving speed and torque. Very, very interesting. Is the reliability there? I don't know. But the performance was definitely really, really good from the Skill and the Milwaukee. What do you guys think? Leave a comment below. Would you try out the Skill on an everyday basis, or do you only trust your Milwaukee products like a lot of you out there?
Save 8% off your order at TruTechTools.com by using the Shop Talk discount code. Welcome back to HVAC Shop Talk in the morning. Man, that was a great intro. I like testing drills, so you can watch that intro if you're on YouTube. It's pretty good. We'll talk about 12-volt drills. We can talk about 12-volt drills all day. For some reason, I really, really enjoy talking about different kinds of power tools. It's like I have like a weird infatuation with them. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing out there? Hope everybody's doing really well out there in the universe. I keep getting notifications from Lowe's and, Lowe's, right? Power tools. No one's in the comments yet. I look forward to seeing some comments here on this lovely Friday morning. I wasn't here yesterday. I feel like I mentioned that I wasn't going to be here yesterday, but then when I look back on the other shows, I see Alexander saying, "See you tomorrow." That was yesterday, so I feel a little bit bad. So I'm sorry, Alexander. Yesterday, I actually had to go up to Goldsboro, North Carolina, had to wake up at the butt crack of dawn minus some, take my son up there. He's going to go to the Citadel, and he's going to go to the Citadel. He's going to be in the Army, so they have to take a little bit of a test every now and then. And speaking of Army guys, good morning, Brandon. I hear the phone is ringing. Hello?
Hello, PCOTA.
PCOTA, man. I was just telling my going to Goldsboro story. How's it going?
Goldsboro.
Yeah, yesterday. I had to go take Andrew up to Goldsboro.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Gotcha.
So did you have to do all that stuff? Did you go take all the medical tests and they ask you a bunch of questions to make sure you weren't psychotic?
You mean to join?
Yeah, just the joining process, because he's like all this preliminary stuff is going on now. And he's not joining for like 4 years. Like technically, he's going to be at college, which is not exactly the military.
Yeah. No, like mine was all part of, I didn't go to, like y'all went to like a civilian doctor, right?
Yeah, both of them were. I get this.
Yeah,
let me tell you, before you tell me, the first one was like a normal family eye doctor. And the second one was like a medac or something. It was weird. It was like a ghetto medac to do like this talk about his medical history. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I should say, because this is a podcast as well later, this is Justin Beaver on the line. So just in case. I know you're super famous, but there may be a guy out there who's like, who is that guy?
Right.
There's probably a guy saying that about me. Listen to the podcast. Who is this guy? I don't know who either one of these people are.
That's right. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. I have a bunch of Facebook friends, but I don't know any of them.
As far as processing into the military medical wise, like you go through all that. I went through all that in Knoxville at a military facility. You're in processing facility in Knoxville, and you go through all the medical stuff that day. And I had like a. I mean, I'm assuming he was probably he's like a contracted civilian doctor, because he wasn't military, but he worked there at the military building.
Yeah.
He's like an 80-year-old dude, so that was awkward, to say the least.
So, well, hey, I'll just tell you.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where I'm going with it.
I'll tell you my version of the story, because it doesn't involve me, and you don't have to tell your version. We can just both reflect on my son's version. He comes out of this like medac ghetto doctor's office, and he's done his whole, I guess, like a semi-physical with some questions and everything. Mm-hmm. And he comes out, and I look at him and say, "Did they check your? Did you check your privates?" He goes. And this is his exact word. It says, "Yes, they checked my genitalia." That's what he told me. It's like, what are we, scientists here? And he says, he checked my genitalia. I said, the old, he says, yes, they did do that. And I said, well, okay, was it a boy or a girl? And he goes, because, I figured they had to give you a boy, especially in this time of day. But it was a girl. I said, you better be careful. With some girls running around your genitalia, there's a natural response. Oh my god! Yeah, no,
I had about an 80-year-old man, and he tried to make jokes about the situation, which just made it worse. Like, don't even try to joke about it. Let's just do this and get this over with. It's like, he says, what did he say? Like, turn around, bend over. He gets his flashlight out, and he's like checking you and stuff, like telling you to cough and stuff. And he's like, gosh. Yeah, I know. What an awesome job, right? This is what I picture doing with my life, staring at dudes' buttholes for a living.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, please don't make jokes right now. This is super awkward.
Oh, yeah. That is bad. I mean, I don't know, but I wouldn't want to have a girl, though. that come back and
No,
check you.
definitely not.
What the
Definitely
world is that even? Doesn't seem like that's even legal now. With all the crap that happens now, they can actually do that. Come on.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I'd rather have the old dude either. I don't want somebody telling stories and cracking jokes the whole time. So let's just go as fast as possible.
But let me just say this. I guarantee you they ain't got men in there checking out the women in processing.
I guarantee that's definitely true. How long would that exam be for some of these people? You know, there'd be a guy back there, you know, right before the court date. He's back there checking people for an hour and a half just for breast cancer. I could just see it now. If I'm lying, I'm lying. Yeah. So
went down a rabbit hole there, Zach.
So wait, you said you were going to do some kind of sales thing or something. Hey, I'm making all this like these little notes. Like, well, I can talk about this. Someone doesn't call in, I could talk about this. Beaver's like, well, I'll call in. I was like, just throw the notes down. I don't need them anymore. So what sales thing are you going to say?
Oh, I thought you was going to ask me questions. You going to put me on the spot like that? Okay.
Well, I can ask you questions.
I'll go down this rabbit hole that I think that you have to have some type of technical ability and know what you're looking at to be good as AKA comfort advisor or project manager or comfort specialist or salesman, whatever your company calls it, because it gives more value to the repair versus replace conversation, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree.
If you've never been a technician, how do you have a repair versus replace conversation with somebody? You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what that entails.
Yeah. I think you ought to know what your guys are going
I think
through.
It makes you more valuable as a salesman if you've been a technician and you can have that conversation because you've been on both sides of it. So
yeah, I agree.
I think that's crucial. And also I think we get wrapped up around the money to the point that you allow maybe your integrity to be compromised because you're trying to make a buck. And I'm a firm believer in honesty. Well, honesty is the best policy. I guess that's cheesy to say, but this is the best policy. And if you're just upright and honest with people and tell them what they got and what your honest opinion is of something, I think you can be very successful just being honest and giving your professional opinion of stuff. So I don't think you have to be sleazy. I don't think you have to play word trickery and overcome obstacles and all that garbage. Be down to earth with people, build a relationship with them, and you'll be successful. The money will come.
I think that's right. I think you have to be really honest. And you know what? Like you're saying, if you don't have the technical skills, I think you got to think about what's best for the customer. And you also have to put your feet in the position of where your guys are going to be installing something. And if you don't understand that, I think that's a big problem because you're going to give your guys impossible tasks is what I see a lot. Yeah. Like stuff that doesn't fit, things that don't work, ideas that aren't based in reality. I see that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I mean, it's obviously different across the country as far as where you can fit things and stuff like that. Not everybody's dealing with super tight attics that, have a small access hole and stuff like that. But
what a bunch of crap.
These guys that go around is like, oh, 3 option, give you 3 options, good, better, best, and this and that. And it's like, okay, well, as you jump up with some equipment, as you jump up in SEER rating, you're also jumping up in cabinet size. So are you checking to see if the cabinet you're proposing is actually going to fit where it needs to go? And we see that all too often, especially around here, is like they sell the box, and then you see guys have to go out there and like cut out access holes bigger and take out pull down ladders and stuff like that. I'm like, man, like if the person that sold this knew what they were looking at, this could have been avoided.
I had a conversation yesterday, and I'm going to talk about this later, about the great search for flex. And I was talking to a guy who is like a manager at a local company because he's also looking for flex, and he's going to help me out. And this guy's name is George, and they go into this long conversation about train units because I've been exposed to training American Standard pretty much my whole life in one way, shape, or form. And we talked about the size of them. And now he says now they don't have the big cabinet, but if you remember back a few years ago, the metal ones, they had like 26-inch tall cabinets for like the larger sizes. And I'm just imagining the sales guy, like picturing a unit. It's like most of them are like 21 by 21. And he's right. A lot of them are 21 by 21. But like, imagine if you had to put in like a 4 or 5 ton or something and you had a 26-inch tall cabinet. That's 5 inches. That ain't going to happen. That's no good. It's just funny.
I was glad to see that Train, we got on our TCS report the other day, they're doing away with, Train's doing away with the D cabinet, which is something ridiculous like that. I think it's 25 and a half, 26 and a half, something crazy like that. And they're going to just make everything, the biggest being a C cabinet, which is 23 and a half. Yeah. So you've got 18 and a half and 23 and a half when it comes to Train metal cabinet stuff. TIM 4, TIM 6, TIM 8. So that's good. But even the 23 and a half stuff, man, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not looking at it right now, but I think once you get above 3 ton, I think once you go 3.5, everything is C cabinet from that point on. So, and maybe even 3 ton too. I'm trying to remember right off, but anyhow, 23.5 can be really hard to get in some places too, especially when you're trying to push it up in an attic. So,
no kidding. It's pretty big.
I wish Train would have a middle option in metal cabinet. I know somebody's going to say, well, you could do Hyperion and this and that. I wish they had a metal cabinet option that was 21.5, like Carrier and some of these other brands have. That would be, to me, like you were talking about 21 by 21, that's like the happy medium, in my opinion. If you get something that's, 21.5 by 22 or whatever, that would be perfect. But man, that jump from 18.5 to 23.5, it sucks sometimes.
Well, can you get Hyperion air handlers? Because that was one of the things we talked about yesterday with this George guy. He said that they're having trouble getting Hyperion air handlers. They're just going with like the TIM 8. And I guess is there a TIM 9 too, communicating?
Let me just give you the inside scoop there, Zach.
All right. You heard it here first, guys.
Let me pull up my TCS report I just got right here. Just got it Tuesday. So I can tell you it. So I can only speak for Jacksonville, Florida, but I would say that kind of reflects around the country too. Let's see, air handlers, TAM 9s, which is a Hyperion, small quantity of 36, 42s, and 60s. I'm sorry, they got 30s too. They got 2.5 tons too.
I wonder what small quantity means. There's 5. Better come get them fast.
Yeah, I don't know what small quantity is. I don't know if that's 2 or if that's 27. I don't know. Let's see, GAM 5, which is also a Hyperion. They have plenty of 18, 24, 36, 42, and 48s. They don't have any 60s. GAF 2, which is being phased out. That's the little old baby Hyperion. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah, like the small boy.
Yep. Let's see, TIM 4s, which is a metal cabinet that you would match up with like 14 SEER stuff. Because it's either going to have an X13 or a PSC in it. 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 40. They got everything. They got every tonnage with them. TIM 6, which is the variable speed metal cabinet, 24s, 30s, 36s, and 42s. So no 4 tons, no 5 tons when it comes to variable speed.
Wow.
TIM 8, same thing. Which TIM 8 is what you would match with a 18 or 20 SEER. So that is the communicating metal cabinet. Same thing, 24, 30, 36, and 42, and it says small quantity out to the side of it. So those are very limited as well. So then let's see, as far as heat pumps, no shortage of 14 SEER. Looks like a little bit limited on 15. No shortage of 16. 17 is limited. They have a single 2-ton 18 SEER.
Wow.
And
that's
they have
gone.
No 20 SEERs. None in stock.
Wow.
So basically, as of right now, what mostly is in stock is 14, maybe 15 SEER stuff, matchups.
Oh man.
You start creeping up 17, 18, 20 SEER stuff. They just don't have it right now.
That's
according
great.
to this anyway.
Yeah, I mean that supports sort of what we were talking about yesterday. He said it was a shortage of a lot of the different things. I brought up some of the stuff. I know you can't probably see it, but I'm bringing up some of the air handlers on the screen here. What we're looking at.
Yeah.
The old Tim. That's a Tim 4. That's your basic air handler.
Yeah, that's your basic metal cabinet.
Man, we can't even look at that thing. No one wants to put in that. If you're gonna buy a train, you don't want to buy no Tim 4.
Why not?
Might as well buy a good one.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Do not compare that. Do not.
Couldn't do it with a straight face, brother. Yeah.
I don't know what's coming in those now. Like when I was still, dabbing in the field a little bit, because it was 50-50. It might come with a PSC, it might come with an X13. You have no idea. There for a little while, as of year and a half ago. They might be all X13s now. I don't know. I haven't really paid attention, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Well, you're right, though. I'm looking at the TAM 9s, I guess the Hyperion TAM 9s, and the size of them. Yeah. The big one's 23.5 by 22. It's 62 long, brother. That's a long air handler.
Yeah. That's the other issue you run into is the attic access is over towards the soffit side of an attic. So you're trying to push a 60-something inch long air handler up into an attic where you're fighting the roof line above the access.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's, yeah.
At least you can break those in half, right? If you really want to,
yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I actually had to do that for a job down in Kingsland not long ago. They had a 5-ton system, and the pull down in the garage was tiny. Like between the springs and the end of the case was 20 inches, and then width, even if you took the blocks out, was 20 inches. So it was like putting a 5-ton air handler through a 20 by 20 hole, and it's like that ain't gonna happen. And they didn't. They did not want us to pull the pull down ladder. They didn't want us to drop the casing or nothing. I'm like, well, then your 14 SEER that you picked, I'm gonna have to match it up with a TAM 9, a Hyperion air handler, so that we can break it apart and put it up in the attic. Roll it into the attic and then put it back together in the attic.
They just give them suckers away. Oh my gosh. I don't know how much they cost. I did buy one of those for a job where I matched up like years and years ago with an R22 condenser. It was a nice train condenser, and at the time it wasn't, crazy like you had to buy a 410A or something. But the Hyperion, you could switch it back and forth with a dip switch from 22 to 410A. Man, that sucker was my cost. That was 4 digits for a 2-ton, my cost. And I was using my dad's account, who was a dealer. So I was like, oh my gosh, good grief.
Yeah, we've done that a couple of times for some different apartment complexes and stuff where for whatever reason they don't want to replace both. The condenser still works, so we would put a TAM 4, which is a Hyperion, and it had the EEV in it, and the dip switch where you could switch back and forth between 410 and 22. So, I was still doing QCs at the time, and I remember going out there to do a QC on it. Look at the air handler up in the attic. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that looks good. Walk outside, and it's a 95 model train condenser. And I'm like, what? What is this? Why would you put that air handler on this piece of junk? But
it's it's better than the reverse. So, like, if you had the old one on the inside and a new one on the outside, I think the air handler being new is better. Like, if you had to compare, but it's still not good.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm big on if we're going, especially if it's that old. It's served its time. You've got your money's worth out of it.
Okay.
Like why would you replace the air handler? Continue to use R22 or 407C or whatever your company's using? Like, why would you do that? Just do the condenser too and be done with it.
Yeah, you can do one of them run true deals, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and here's my thing. If you look at it from a business side of it, the air handler takes the majority of the time on a change out, right? So you've already got an install crew there that's going to take whatever, 3/4 of the day to do an air handler and plenums and all that, because they ain't going to get in no hurry. So why would you not just go ahead and, whatever you need to add add to it, do the condenser too. How long does a condenser install take you? Reusing a line set, flush it, whatever. What,
It's
an
fast.
hour?
Yeah.
Set it in place, hook a whip up, braise it. Like, I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I was thinking the same thing you're saying while you were talking. I was like, well, the condenser, I mean, it costs, but I mean, the actual putting it in is quick, especially when you're doing the other part at the same time. Now, if you come back, it's going to end up costing them more, like probably 30 or 40% more, because they're coming back to do it.
You make two different trips, right? So when you sell that air handler only replacement, you got to factor, the trip charge of going out there. Your installer, you might as well just call it a day, unless you're fortunate enough to be able to line up something for them to do in the afternoon. You just happen to be able to, whatever after they do the air handler, they're going to stop here and replace some flex under a mobile home at the end of the day, so that you get a full day's work in. But you might as well just say that they're going to be there at least 3/4 of the day messing with the air handler. So
yeah.
What is your price? What is the price difference going to be? Because you've already factored in the labor and all this stuff for them to go out there for the majority of the day anyway.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. If I'm sending myself or a group of guys out there, I'm factoring in the whole day of labor, and it would have included setting the condenser, but now you're going to get another whole day in labor for the condenser, and then you're also going to have to do all the same procedures again with the new condenser, and it's a pain. And like business, we mark up stuff, including the labor. So,
and if you're lucky, you're dealing with a company that might cut the labor, instead of that they're willing to cut their gross profit per day in half, because they say, well, we'll line up another condenser only for them to do after lunch. So they'll go do this one, be done by lunchtime, and then I'll send them to do another one. So you might get lucky and the company cut the labor in half, but it's still more if you would have just done it all together.
I don't know. And I think you gotta cover your butt, because on them jobs out there at that 95 unit, you're gonna run into some crap you weren't planning on because it's been out there forever, and you're gonna have to spend 2 or 3 more hours working on something. You're gonna find the stupid lines too small, or there's a kink in the wall or some crap like that.
Yeah, I mean, I one of the QCs I did, like I was telling you, that it was a 95 model train condenser outside. I walked around there and looked at it. The thing's, mind you, I didn't sell this. Let me just throw that out there.
Disclaimer: I'm not associated with the store.
Disclaimer: it wasn't me. Actually, it was a tech. But anyhow, condenser sitting 3 or 4 inches down and down in mulch, where you'd have to dig out to get to the service valves. Condenser coil's nasty. Contactor's burnt and pitted. Cap is original. I'm like, okay, well, this is a ticking time bomb right here. Like, we'll be back within the next 6 months to have to make a repair on this thing.
Oh yeah. So you can see it coming. It says, please, you start. Everybody's religious at that point, Justin, and be like, please, Lord, please protect this unit from failure. And I will go to church this Sunday, I promise.
That's right.
4 days later, watching the game with Cheetos on your belly, the Lord is making that run cap pop.
That's right.
I was looking up the Run True stuff, like the air handlers. Their air handler says it's still 26.5 inches wide. I was like, good grief.
Run True? What? For a 5-ton?
That's what it says. It says the A4AH 6. I'm not going to say all the words because it goes on forever. It says 26.5. I'm guessing there's a 14 and a 16. I guess this must be the matchup with the 16.
Yeah, there it is. Let's see here. I was going to, because I've got my, what the crap? Come on here. There we go. I was going to pull up my Run True book where it would tell me the actual
Run True makes a book.
Of everything.
I'm impressed.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with them units, man. They're spine fin coil. I think it has a little cheaper condenser fan motor in it than what a standard train does. I'm pretty sure they all got Copeland scrolls in them, or at least equivalent to Copeland scroll.
Says they're assembled in Trenton.
The air handler is a TIM 4. It is a unpainted TIM 4 with a Run True sticker and a different model number. It is the exact cabinet. So you are getting a train for a cheaper price over it basically having maybe cheaper cap, contactor, and condenser fan motor. Other than that, it's all the same stuff. So
That's why. It's like Ameristar was before, is what it sounds like.
let's see here. I was going to look and see what the air handler.
Hey, I'll do this. I'm going to give you an extra 30 seconds to look this up because I clicked the About page on RunTrue. I want to see what they say about themselves. So you go ahead and find it, and I'm going to read this real quick. Yeah, I'm just curious because, RunTrue just pops out of the clouds. It's like, where'd y'all come from? I want to see what they say. It says, RunTrue by Trane offers a line of heating and cooling equipment that's designed to perform and built to last. Well, that's good. Why choose RunTrue? That's what I was thinking. We deliver exactly what today's customers expect and deserve, an HVAC product that's built to last, priced to fit any budget, and suitable for any residence. The result is heating and cooling performance that can be relied on from outdoor. I was expecting like the story about how some guy invented this brand like in 1960. It died, and they revived it like Nordyne revives old refrigerator brands. I don't see that anywhere. Like Frigidaire, though. Frigidaire's pretty good. The old one.
Okay, so are you done?
Yeah, that was it. There wasn't much purpose to that. Once I looked at it, it really was just a sales pitch. So,
yeah. So the RunTrue air handlers, like I said, they're basically Tim 4s and Tim 6s is what they are. I see what you're talking about. The D cabinet 48 and the D cabinet 60. There is an option for a 26.5 wide, but I would assume if Trane is doing away with the D cabinets, there will not be D cabinets in RunTrue either. So everything should go back to a C cabinet, which is 23.5. So,
wow,
that's whether you go variable speed or PSC or X13. So 10-4, AH6 or AH4 or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. But they are shorter. They were 53.9 instead of 62. So I guess if they make them thinner, they're going to make them longer.
Let's see here.
Or you just get one of these apartment-style air handlers for your house and duct it right to the closet door opening.
Right. So to go back to a C cabinet, you get it's not as wide, but that joker's what, 4 or 5 inches longer?
Yow.
Yeah.
She goes on for days.
It's a little over 4 inches longer, which I don't know. 53 compared to 57. And I don't think that's that big of a deal.
It's not that big. It's only a big deal to like a few installs out there where they're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Lee Johnson in the comments down here says, do they have a 10-year warranty on parts? It looks like they do. It says 10-year warranty for functional parts with registration, like everybody else, I guess.
They there for a while. They were 10-year compressor and then 5-year on the rest of the parts. And I'm like, that's stupid. Like, I'm not. No, okay, yeah. Yes, ma'am. You've got 1 year labor, 5-year parts, and 10-year compressor. Like, and what I didn't understand is like, Trane, you're the one producing this. These are made in Tyler, Texas, on the same assembly lines, spine fin coil, all the same stuff. Why would you not give 10-year parts on everything else too? So they did eventually change. I think right at a year ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like it's the whole registration
10-year
deal.
parts on everything. Yeah.
Man, let's see. Limited parts warranty. You have to register, send in a blood sample, and pay a lock of your hair so they can check it against the customer that buys your house.
That's right.
Yeah. That's not in there, everybody. I'm sorry. That's not right. But you have 20 years on your heat exchanger.
It's basically in there. It's basically in there.
Yeah. It's like everyone else. If you do a job at a church, just put it in the preacher's name and say it's residential.
That's right.
Wink, wink.
That's right.
Yep. These are HVAC contractor hacks.
I'm about to say, it sounds like someone has done that before.
I've seen it done. I've never actually gotten to do a job at a church for an install. The one job I got close to, they stiffed me, which was ironic. So, yeah, it's as nice as it sounds. I shouldn't say it wasn't like the church did it. It was like the guy who I was meeting with, who had actually put the HVAC at his house. It was really his fault, not the church.
Yeah.
It's like Top Gun.
But
His mouth wrote checks. His
I
body
will
couldn't
say
cash.
there is a difference though, because I don't know why. I don't know why Train would do this. It drives me crazy. So I don't know. I don't get to talk to higher ups at Train on a daily basis, so I don't know. Maybe I don't know the whole inside scoop, but I don't understand. They made the Run True line as a more budget friendly brand, okay, to compete with Goodman and some of these other brands or whatever. But yet they still will let Oxbox, which is a Chinese piece of crap, they'll allow them to put Oxbox by Train. I'm like, if you're going to make your own budget brand and produce it in Tyler, Texas, why also offer essentially Ameristar, now relabeled as Oxbox, because you have Joe Blow guys around here telling people they're installing the Train and putting it in for $4,500, and I'm thinking, no way can he buy a Train and put it in for $4,500. And then you see it, and it's an Oxbox, and it's like, oh well, it's made by Train. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Hey, as soon as you said that, I looked up their website, or I searched them on Google. It says Oxbox by Train, heating and cooling, ecomfort.com, ecocomfort.com, or ecomfort.com is their website. It doesn't even say Oxbox. It's kind of weird. I'm going to bring it up here. Oh, yeah. Oh, this looks very familiar.
Yeah, you think so? No. What is that? That is an Ameristar in a different color with a different sticker.
I see Curtis Bowers' dealer line here. Yeah, it's the exact same
Curtis,
thing.
I'm sorry, Curtis. He's probably mad at me because I called it a Chinese piece of crap. I'm sorry, Curtis.
Curtis
I'm sure
might
they
agree.
work fine. I'm sure you've had great success out of them. I'm just saying.
I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, it's been a few months since I talked to Curtis. I actually got to talk to Curtis, but I think he had some highs and lows. I think it's probably the best representation. I put a few of them in. I didn't have any problem with them, but I was in like a realtor situation where after I left, they likely never knew that I existed. Someone bought the house, and then they called whoever guy they deal with.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say this: we have a mutual friend in Chuck Pierce in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Go back and watch one of his videos, guys, where he was waiting 6 or 8 months on a defrost board from Ameristar while his customer's down, where to the point that he had to warranty making it work with a Goodman board just to get the people some heat because it was ridiculous wait for parts for Ameristar. I wonder why.
Yeah, and I do have a visual representation on screen for the guys watching that can sort of tell where Chuck's Ameristar board is located. It's just a Google Maps picture of China.
That's right.
Never left. It's probably still in this port right here called Shanghai. So, but
yeah.
I don't know whatever happened with that. I do remember that story, though. I remember months went by. Yeah. Nothing ever happened. Poor Chuck. Lesson learned, though. I don't think he's put in anymore.
Yeah, no, I can't say that I would want to put in Ameristar. Don't get me. I mean, any piece of equipment can make a liar out of you. You could put it in Ameristar, and if you put it in right and ductwork sized right, and you did all the proper procedures installing it, that joker could go in and you not have a problem out of it in 20 years.
Yep.
I'm going to say that's highly, highly unlikely, and I don't want to take that risk. So, and I don't want it to all of a sudden be, well, we got to get that part from China, and you're going to be waiting 6 weeks.
Well, I'll tell you this.
I like the thought of being able to go to a distributor local and get what I need.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I was going to say that, when you look inside any piece of equipment, usually there's familiar sightings. It's like you're talking about the, what's the other one called? No, I can't even remember. The other, Run True. You look inside, it's like, oh, there goes one of those Copeland, Alliance, Scrolls, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. I recognize that. I depend on those. That's okay. But when you look inside a Ameristar, nothing looks familiar. It's like there's a compressor from, where is it from? It's just black.
Samsung compressor. What?
Samsung? What are you doing in here, Samsung? And then there's like a blue coil. It's like everything in China, if you're a coil, you have to be blue tinted. It's like they have to tint all their coils blue. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the seawater on the boat, because they're on the deck of the boat. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I know that there's some telltale signs. Whenever I see them, I'm like, I don't know about that one. You just think that to yourself. It's like, oh, blue coil. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
It's leaking already. I
Well,
just feel it.
I think, and to sit here bashing Ameristar and stuff. I mean, you see crap with Train too periodically. You know, you get a leaking evap coil from the factory and stuff. You put it in, and it's, you know, pissing out of one of the U bins like on a brand new air handler. So I mean, everybody has their problems. I think the important thing is focusing on install procedures, ductwork sizing, things like that. And I think you have a high success rate regardless of what equipment you put in, because they're all machines. They're all made on an assembly line, and you know, you're gonna have mess ups. So
yeah,
it's got to be, you control what you can control, and that is installing it correctly. And I think if you do that, for the most part, you'll be successful regardless of what brand. So I will say that.
I agree with you. I think that's true. I think probably if you do all things right, everybody's up in that 90+ success rate area with all your machines. I mean, even like a Ameristar or something like that, at least let's say like for the first year or two, you're probably all in the 90+. But maybe your trains and your stuff that's more established, maybe your reams or something, maybe they're like 97%, 97.5. And then like your Ameristar might be like 92%. So I think you still have a pretty good success rate. It's just there's a little bit of difference because maybe a quality difference that might show itself over time.
And I'll tell you what I really like is I like a manufacturer that is willing to listen to the people that is putting in the equipment and what's going to make their life easier, what makes it more easily serviceable, things like that. Like I really like Rheem's newer design. I like how they redesign their condensers. I really like their gas furnaces. They're super simple to work on. Everything's right there. You know, they took the opinion of technicians and kind of incorporated it when they redesigned stuff. That's one of my frustrations with Goodman. Like, first of all, I'm not a fan of Goodman, but I really, really hate the design of their condensers. I think that is the dumbest, non-service friendly condenser I've ever seen in my life. Like, you take the top off that thing and it just bows out everywhere.
Oh yeah, the bloomin' onion. That's what we call it, the bloomin' onion.
Yeah, you change a condenser fan motor, and you know the wires are only so long, so you've got the top partially back on there. And if it's a bigger tonnage, let's say it's a 4 or 5 ton, so it's a larger condenser, you're like sticking your arm down in there trying to find that hole for the service, you know, for the service access to get it in there to hook it back to the contactor and the board and stuff. And it's a nightmare. And if they put their dryers down there in the corner, the worst place they could possibly put it.
All you got to do is take the condenser coil off. It's easy to reach.
Do what?
All you got to do is take the condenser coil off and you can reach it easily.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm aware.
That's it. That's all you got to
do. I just think it's stupid. I don't know. Like, I don't know why I don't have a problem with the air handlers. Air handlers are simple, easy to work on. Their furnaces, I think their furnaces are probably one of the most reliable, if I'm being completely honest. I don't have a problem with their furnaces whatsoever. Mm-hmm. That condenser, garbage.
Yeah, it's they're kind of cheap, and some of the placement. I mean, they can move the dryer to the outside, but my belief has always been that Goodman is marketed in a way where they expect people to not install the dryer. So they put the dryer on the inside, and they put it in a spot that's, you know, like I said, it's awful. It's just strange placement. And sometimes they got that little bitty tiny 5 cubic inch dryer crammed in there. It's weird. Mm-hmm. They got some weird stuff going on. And it blooms. When you take the top off, I mean, we used to have to do all sorts of stuff. You'd have another guy holding them all together while you put the top on. You put tape across the top and then put it on. It was just.
I will never forget, and probably one of the reasons why I have my my hate for Goodman. I can remember being in Tennessee, changing a reversing valve on a Goodman heat pump condenser in the middle of February. It was about 10 degrees outside, ridiculously cold, wind whipping, condenser was on the side of the house. This house was on a bluff, so it was on the slope. You know, it was a slope. So you had to walk uphill to go back to your van to get stuff. And I had to change the reversing valve in it. And I remember taking that thing apart going, this is stupid. Like, I hate my life right now. Like, just mad at the world, man. Like, taking that thing apart, taking the condenser coil off. It's spitting snow. It's ridiculously cold. And I'm just thinking, that was one of those days where you question the career choice that you made.
No kidding.
Man, I'd much rather be working a 9 to 5 in an office right now at this particular time.
God was listening that day, brother.
So, yeah, that was one of the many events that has made me dislike Goodman.
Well, I'll tell you what. First, I want to say thanks. There's a guy in the chat named Exploring Marshes and Beyond, which is an interesting name. I wonder what he actually does. Exploring Marshes. Maybe that's Doug Marsh. I don't know. Maybe if that's you, Doug, say I'm Doug. But he put like a super sticker thing up, which is like a $10 thing donated to the show. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that existed, or I don't remember. But yeah, there were stickers. I remember stickers. Yep. And it is Doug. Thank you, Doug. Thanks. Yep. It's Doug. But I was going to tell you, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I had to do a reversing valve change out on a Mana, which is Goodman represented as fancy, but it's still the same. And it was because, this is the best part, it was because the customer thought the reversing valve was too loud during defrost. Yeah, his bedroom's right there. I guess we should have moved the units, but they were all there before, so it would have been kind of an ordeal to move everything to a different part of the house, including the package unit, which was out there, which would have been a definite ordeal because it just did that one section of the house right there. So I had to replace that thing, had to take the whole unit apart, all for a reversing valve. That sounded no different once I was finished with a new reversing valve than when I took out the old reversing valve. And you know how much pain it takes to take one of them things out and put it in, even when you can reach it, even when it's in the perfect spot. Yeah. Like Carrier, I think they were easier to reach in the corner of their package unit because there's an opening there. That was okay. Goodman's horrible. They're in the worst spot possible.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've changed, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 on the Carrier package units, and not the cheap Carrier ICP package unit with the big single door on the front right. I'm talking about the one with that's similar to a train package unit where the condenser coil's on top, and if you're looking at it from the front, you have 3 separate doors on the front. That reversing valve is up in the top left, in the area of the condenser coil above the compressor compartment, and that one's not too bad to change. That one's okay. Train condenser with it being, in that side panel, that one's not, and it's not the end of the world on that one either. But there's some that's like, man, you ain't thinking about the technician at all putting that thing there.
Yeah, you got to add like all these extra processes on it. It's just horrible. It's taking coils off and the train one, I'm trying to kind of pull it out away from the coil so I can reach behind it. And sometimes that's a pain in the butt. But at least you can sort of do that sometimes. You can pull it away from the coil. You can take that coil off too. But, man, sometimes I don't want to do all that crap. I just want to change the thing and go about my life.
The easiest TXV I think I've ever run across is a Rheem package heat pump, residential style package heat pump, that has the single TXV in it. And that joker is right there. Like, you can literally pull. You don't technically have to pull the top of the package unit. You could get away with pulling just the condenser fan motor out, and it's right there in the dryer. So this dryer, short piece of.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Oh, that was Siri. Can you hear that?
I did hear Siri talking. Is Siri going to answer the questions about like where the dryer's at and stuff? Is that what she's getting at?
I don't think she can.
I don't think she does.
Anyhow, dryer, short piece of copper, TXV. I mean, it's all right there. You can change one of them jokers in no time.
Oh, man.
Like, good looking out, Rheem. Good looking out.
I know. I'm sitting there like, I worked on one of them things, and I made a video of it. I don't know where it's at, though. That's too bad, because it was like that exact unit you're talking about, the single TXV unit.
Yep.
And I was like, man, this ain't so bad, because I had to change that TXV. It's like, well, this is a pretty easy to reach area. This ain't too bad.
Yep.
But I can't find it. I don't know.
That's right.
I don't know, man.
I don't even know.
Did you even mention
But
anything
hey,
about sales today? You didn't even mention nothing about sales.
maybe I haven't.
It's sort of like,
You didn't ask me.
salesman put you in that bad position, and we started talking about different equipment.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just, I don't know. I've said it 100 times. I think the industry has went towards this. I shouldn't even say the industry. Certain companies has went towards this used car salesman stuff, and I'm just, and maybe I'll get, left behind. They say you gotta adapt to the times and overcome it and roll with the punches. I'm like, I don't know. I can't say that I can't say that I'm going to adapt to being some pushy salesman. I'm just not going to be that guy.
I don't think you have to be him. I think you can be successful without that. And I don't think all of them are like that or anything. I just think there's a few that are really it's like the squeaky wheel that you really notice. So,
well, I just think that I think most companies probably have good intentions. They enjoy being, let's say you start a company tomorrow. You have good intentions. You enjoy being a technician. You enjoy fixing stuff. You're trying to build your customer base, all these things. And then as time progresses and it becomes a monster that's somewhat out of your control, you have to put people in place that you trust to run different departments because you've created a monster. And when you come out of the field, I feel like you lose touch with the customer service aspect of it. And it becomes strictly about dollars. And so you get tied up in this, what's the budget? What does my GP per man day need to be? What does this need to be? What does that need to be? We need to do this and this and this. And it's like you totally lose sight of it's all about. It becomes about the almighty dollar and making this killer profit to grow and grow and grow. And you're losing touch with your customer base. And I don't know. I think it just spirals from there, I think. But
yeah,
there's plenty of $100 million a year companies out there that would disagree with me. So
yeah, it makes sense what you're saying. It's like don't chase the dollar. Like don't have the dollar as the goal. Have the quality as the goal, and let the dollar come from it instead of chasing the dollar and then thinking you're going to get quality.
If you have the customer's best interest in mind, you know what you're doing. You have the technical ability. The money will come because they trust you. They will spread the word. It's just like marketing dollars. There's all these different platforms now that's you can pay monthly fees and they'll use that money towards marketing you on Facebook or Google or Yelp or all these different places. And I don't know, man, maybe I'm just narrow-minded. My thought process is build a great reputation in your area to the point that you have to put no money into marketing.
Yeah.
And word of mouth has built your company, by leaps and bounds because you're well known in your community, not because you spent $5,000 for Google to slap your name on everything that people search through Google. Be well known and be respected in your community.
Yeah,
that's just how I look at it.
I think that's reasonable. Yeah, I don't think that maybe if you take that path, you might not be super guy with the yachts. You may never be able to reach that point because he's pressing all the time. So you might be comfortable yet not, at that level, which might be better,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's harder to get into heaven as a rich man. Get a camel to the eye of the needle, Beaver. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with I don't want to make anybody mad that might be listening. There's nothing wrong with marketing. Okay, that's fine. But I'm saying, I don't think you want to be dependent on it 24/7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you could shut it off tomorrow and you're gonna be okay because you got plenty of revenue. You got plenty of work going on.
You had to have a reputation to market. I think you had to build the quality, and then the marketing could complement that. Maybe that's a good way to look at it. It's something you have your quality, you have your reputation in the community, and then you can just market saying, just complimenting that instead of relying on marketing and then burning through customers because you're just trying to churn them out.
Well, I think you have to have some type of online presence regardless, because especially if you live in an area like I do where You have tons and tons of people moving from up north or out west. You know where I'm talking about. They're moving to the south. Wonder why, but that's a different topic.
Taxes.
You have tons of people moving into this area. They don't know who to use. So what's the first thing that somebody from New York City is going to do when they move to an area and they need heat and air service? They're going to Google it. So if you have no online presence, you're not going to get that customer. So to an extent, yes, you have to have an online presence. You just don't want to be, totally dependent on it.
No, I think you're right. Because if you don't have an online presence, I mean, no one's going into like the yellow pages now unless they are your 80-year-old military doctor. That's the only guy who's still doing that.
Nobody's driving around looking for heat and air buildings either. Like, people want instant answers. They want to be able to Google something, have it at their fingertips, and know who they need to call. And people are big on reviews. They want to be able to get on Google and go, man, this company has 1,500 reviews, and the next guy has 5. Like, okay, let me read these 1,500 reviews. And, those are all those reviews are people going to bat for you for your reputability. So, you got to have it. 100%.
Do you guys, after your installs are done, have like one of those programs where they automatically prompt people to give you a review?
I think it does do that. We do have software that does that. As a matter of fact, I think they get reviews after they get sent stuff after every service call, which here's where I'm at with that. I'm torn with that because I think there's a line in the sand there where it's, honestly asking for a review versus annoying someone that, you have to draw the line there somewhere. And like, people don't want to be harassed with emails and text messages. How do we do? How do we do? How do we do? I don't know. You were just here last night. I'll let you know a month from now if it's still working.
Is it that soon? Is it sent like the next day?
Oh, I think so.
I don't know about that plan either. I'd probably give it a week at least.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm torn with that, but I mean, I think you give the people the ability to review you, and it goes somewhere that's out of your control. So they get a link and they have the ability to review you, and it automatically go to Google. Because if you're filtering those, what good does that do? Then that guy will just throw the bad ones out and be batting 1,000 on Google.
Oh yeah.
So I think there has to be some honesty there, saying, look, I don't have no control of what you put here. This puts it automatically on Google. Please be 100% honest. And if there's an issue, please let us know. So I think you have to give the people the ability to review you in a way. I don't think you annoy the crap out of them to try to get them to do it so you can boost numbers.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree with you. I think it should be like a one-time deal. You want to do it like a week after, and it's a one-time deal, and they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it because half the time I don't do that kind of thing unless I'm really fired up about it. I'll be like, oh man, I just love this new phone app. So next time it pops on the screen and says, please rate this app, I'm actually going to go this time. But I never do that crap. So, yeah.
But the downfall to online reviews is the society and the people that you deal with nowadays. You have people that won't even call you and let you know that they have an issue with something, and they'll just blast you on Google or on social media. And it's like, man, you haven't even called me. If there was an issue, why don't you call? Why don't we try to resolve this first? Let me come fix the mistake before you blast me for the whole world to see. So you do take that risk as well, because you have people that they don't want to talk to you on the phone. They just want to, be keyboard warriors and blast you online.
They don't handle confrontation. That's the problem. They don't want to confront anything. They just want to go around it, have their voice heard, make their big stink, because they don't have whatever the fortitude or the ability to confront somebody in the real world outside of the digital kingdom.
That's kind of like these leads and stuff that I get, because we get leads from everything. I get leads from Mitsubishi's website. I get leads from Train's website. I get leads from Google, different marketing companies, Facebook, call-ins, everything. And I'm the type of person so what they do is let's say they call in and they say, I need to get an estimate.
Mm-hmm.
The girl in the office takes their information, their name, their address, their phone number, how they heard about us. Was it Google? Was it a customer referral? What was it? Okay, I'm going to pass your information over to our comfort advisor, Justin, and he will reach out to you and schedule a date with you as far as coming out and giving you an estimate. And what I do is I just kind of reconfirm what we already have, and dig a little deeper, because a girl in the office that's been doing it for a year might not necessarily know the right questions to ask. So I'll ask a few questions and stuff and make sure it's a legitimate lead, and I schedule it. But you're dealing with people now that they want to talk through Podium, they want to talk through text message and email me only type people and stuff like that. And I'm just the type, man, like, look, I'm going to call you. If you're busy, don't answer. I'll leave you a voicemail. You call me back when you can. Let's talk about this. Let me ask a few questions, and let's hash out a day and time for me to come out and give you look at everything and give you some options. If you can't give me the courtesy of giving me a 5-minute phone conversation, I'm not going to play the text game with you. I'm not going to play the email game with you. Let's talk about it. Let's schedule it. And I've had people, I've called, left them a voicemail. They don't call me back, but somehow they message the office, like through one of these platforms, Podium or whatever. And, I'll get a message from the office. So-and-so called in and said she would, spoke to so-and-so, which means I text back and forth with them. And they're still waiting to schedule with you. And my response is, okay, wonderful. If they would answer the phone or call me back from the voicemail I left them, I'll be happy to do that.
Uh-huh.
So they don't always go over well.
They don't, people are just squeamish, not even about confrontation that's negative in nature, where you might have like an adversarial thing. They avoid all of it. It's like everything, I don't know, I blame online, but I mean, just they don't want to engage in any kind of difficult conversation, even if it's only uncomfortable, not like you're against someone you don't like or they dislike you or something. They just avoid all of it now. To me, that's
here's the other one I avoid too, and tell me what you think about this. You get somebody calls in, and they're willing to talk to you on the phone. There's no issue there, but I'm getting multiple bids. I don't get home from work till 6:30 or 7 in the evening. Okay, well then you call me back and let me know whenever you can leave work early and meet me at the latest 5 o'clock. Like.
Oh yes, the salesman that just won't bend and come in at midnight.
Do what?
The salesman that won't bend and come in at midnight.
Right, like I don't know. I'm reasonable with people. I've met people after hours. I've met people on a Saturday morning. If I feel like they just genuinely like, look, I cannot meet you. I work in Jackson. I work an hour and a half away. I don't get home till 7 o'clock at night. Is there any way you could meet me on like a Saturday morning or something? I'll bend for some people like that. But the guy that's just like, I'm getting multiple bids and I don't get home till 6:30. So can you come at 6:30? Nope. Sure can't. You call me back and you let me know when you can leave work early and I can meet you at 3 or 4. If that guy is not willing, if he's not serious enough about this to be willing to let his boss know, hey, I need to cut out at 3 o'clock today because I got to get an estimate for my heat and air. It's not working, and I got to get it replaced. If you're not serious enough to try to meet me at a reasonable time, I'm not coming after hours to give you a bid that you're going to throw in a pile with several other bids, and you're going to go with the cheapest dude.
Yeah, I think that the guys, they think because it's like a service industry, they can pretty much ask you to do anything, and you're going to, I guess, respond favorably because you want that sale so badly. It's just, I think that mentality kind of cancels out the fact that on the customer end, they have to be respectful too, or you'd want them to be respectful. And then the negative is that, if they don't want to play ball with you changing the time to something that's normal working hours and you lose the sale, that would be the ramification of it. But it's kind of crappy. I mean, I wouldn't do that to other people. I wouldn't expect them to do that to me. But, I mean, people still do it. I mean, that's just the way people are. They'll do stuff like that. They either come at 8 o'clock. I have another guy who will come at 8 o'clock. Okay, all right. I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I've had those too. The ones that the time frame's weird. You got to meet them at a certain time type thing, and then you pull up and there's two other guys standing there for the same thing. I'm like, I'm out.
That is the worst. That is the worst.
If you're disrespectful enough to call 3 different heating and air contractors and have them all lined up there like an assembly line, waiting to drop their bid, like fighting over I'm not going to fight over the job. You boys can have it, because they're looking for the cheapest thing, and they want somebody to overly cater to them. And no, I bring value. I bring something different. And if you're looking for cheap, I'm not your guy. I'm not even going to give you a bid. I'm just going to turn around and leave.
Are you serious? Yeah, I can see that. Those conversations are so strange because customers don't expect that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, are you serious? And Shannon says those he says the D word. Those robocalls have killed it for everybody. Now no one wants to answer the phone for a number they don't recognize. I'm totally with you.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I don't want to do it either.
I have tons of people that they don't answer me. I leave a voicemail and they call me back 5 minutes later because they wanted to screen who it was and make sure I was somebody legitimate that they wanted to talk to before they were willing to call back or talk to me. So
I don't blame them.
And that's, you know what, that's fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. At least they call me back and have a conversation with me. I'm not going to play the text game, because I'm running other estimates. I'm in someone else's home. I'm in somebody's attic taking pictures, and I'm building up proposals, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I don't have time to sit and play the text or email game with you. If you're serious, pick up your phone, have a conversation with me. We'll schedule it. I'll come out. You'll have my undivided attention. But no, I'm not going to do that, because the homeowner I'm with, they have my attention right now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's a good thing too. It's just like using phones at the dinner table or something. It's just not cool. It's not cool to do stuff like that. And I don't know, people lose some of that. I think young people do it, and you kind of work your way through it. I think as you get older, you sort of like, yeah, this isn't right. Let me stop doing this sort of thing. But I don't know. People of all ages have the problem, I guess.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. You know, you've been on the show for an hour. What are you doing today, Beaver?
Well, actually, today I have not. I did not schedule anything today because I have to catch up on spreadsheets. I have to catch up on some different forms. I've got a couple follow-up calls to make from bids that I gave earlier in the week. So today is just kind of my catch-up day. Catch up on paperwork, catch up on follow-ups, respond to a couple emails. I got a couple emails where I've emailed over a proposal and you know, they've asked questions and stuff. And so when I get around to it, I respond to them. But I don't do that for any customer. So, but sometimes you run into that when you have people, and email's okay. Because in my mind, email is like, I'm going to send you this message, and when you get around to it, respond to me. It's not in my mind, a text message is like, you want a response ASAP.
Yeah.
And so email's okay. I mean, I deal with St. Simon's and Jekyll Island and some different places where people have getaway houses or vacation rentals or whatever, and they might live in Atlanta, and they're a business person in the middle of Atlanta. They like to communicate through email. Okay, fine. But the initial visit, important conversations, those are done over the phone. But if I need to modify a proposal and go back and forth with you through emails over the next couple of days, whatever, that's fine. When I get a chance, I'll respond to your email.
Yeah.
So
people unprepared.
I got a couple
talk on the fly.
I got a couple of those that I got to email back, but that's about it for today, man. Unless something comes in, unless a tech flips something to me or get a solid marketed lead or something.
So is this like every Friday's thing? If you can schedule it that way?
No, some Fridays I might be out till 6 o'clock. Who knows? It just depends on the amount of leads coming in and what's going on. It's been fairly slow this week, and so I just kind of dedicated Friday for getting caught up on some stuff. Yeah. And I got to be done early today anyway. My daughter's got a beauty pageant this afternoon, and then my son has baseball practice at 7 this evening. So I needed to be home by about 4:30 anyway. So
Your daughter has a beauty pageant.
mm-hmm.
No kidding. Is she going to be Little
Yeah.
Miss fill in the blank?
Do what?
Is she going to be Little Miss fill in the blank?
I guess.
Oh man,
Don't get
Mallory
me
did that
started.
too.
Have you ever priced a beauty pageant dress?
I have. Mallory used to do those when she was. I don't know, it's been a long time, but yes, I'm familiar with the cost.
It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And then to put you like, and then to, in my mind, in a man's mind frame, I'm like, this is stupid. Hundreds of dollars to put my daughter up on, like, this. I don't know if you will, like for everybody to just gawk at her and judge her based on how she walks and how she presents herself and yada yada yada. I'm like, this is stupid. But the little girls just eat that crap up, So
yeah, they do.
If that's what she wants to do, I'm going to support her. But like in my manly mind frame, I'm like, this is stupid. I'm not going to put myself up on a stage and let other people judge me. No.
Yeah, and nowadays you feel like that wouldn't happen anymore, right? What do these girls want to get up on stage for and be objectified? Yeah. The older versions, of course. But it's nowadays be like, man, we can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll be spiced up. Maybe you get one of them trans girls on there and you'll be like spicier time. Be like, oh wow, now we got a discussion.
I'm surprised beauty pageants are even still a thing. Because I'm surprised they don't play that same card of, well, so you're saying in order for a girl to be beautiful that she has to dress up with makeup and wear a long dress and all this stuff. This girl over here, why can't she wear blue jeans and a t-shirt and be beautiful? You're being, you're
right.
Judging and this and that. So,
well, I think t-shirt and blue jeans is beautiful compared to a dress personally.
yeah.
But I think there's the way people want to appear, and then the way the human instinct is naturally working. Because and all this day and age stuff. Last time I went to one of these HVAC conferences, my one conference for my lifetime, I'm good. Every single booth that was trying to sell something, they didn't use old, dirty men. They used 20-year-old, busty women to introduce all the tools. And this is like shocking to us now. Okay, men love busty young women. Let's just clog this whole conference, this whatever it's called. I forget what the place was called, but it's a huge conference area with these ladies because we know it'll work, even though we're trying to pretend that we're whatever woke or something. I guess
there's a couple of them on. So I don't know if anybody follows me, but I prefer Instagram when it comes to heat and air related stuff. And there's a few women on there that I'm trying to think of the company that they work for, but like they promote like the turbo caps, the AMRAD turbo caps and stuff like that. But yeah, they're young, attractive women, and I'm like, I see what you're doing here. It's not, that's not going to work on me. It's not going to work on me. I see your plan here.
Yeah,
but young, attractive women talking to a bunch of dudes in a trade, probably pretty successful.
Yeah, it's definitely successful. Hey, it's one of them tried and true things. I'm going to put your Instagram in the comments here. Okay, so someone wants to check it out. Plus, it's JKBEAV88. JKBEAV88. So, if you like air conditioners and or guns, you're going to be right at home.
That's correct.
Yep. So
that's what I was going to say. If you're not a gun enthusiast or an advocate of the Second Amendment, you probably aren't going to like my Instagram. But go ahead and give me a follow. I'd appreciate it.
Hey, you can check out this great picture over there. Hey, look, I'm in this picture. All right, look at that.
Snap.
Man, that was down at wherever that was, Outback or whatever it was, Texas Roadhouse, Outback, something like that.
I don't remember the place where I got the barbecue sauce down my back.
Yeah, like a sniper hit you with barbecue sauce because
and
I think you knew.
I demonstrated great. How do I want to put this?
Let's see. I'm curious what you're going to say here.
Great poise, if you will, because I didn't go off on the waitress. She spilled barbecue sauce all down my back, and everybody at the table, maybe not Zach and his wife, but my wife in particular is like, "You gonna say something?" I'm like, "It ain't worth it." The girl knows what she did. She was obviously embarrassed by it. She ran off in the back and never come back. So she knew what just happened, and she was trying to avoid me chewing her out. There's no point in doing that. She knows she made a mistake, wiped it off, going about our business. Hence why Zach's holding a shirt right there in his hand, because
Oh yeah,
he's trying to get me a shirt to wear.
yeah. Because he got the same shirt from Sam's. That's the whole funny part about that. And I said I had my suitcase. I'm like, I got the perfect shirt, Justin. It was $12.88.
Two of those shirts.
Yeah, they have a bunch of them. I still have that shirt. Yeah. I got to wear that shirt again, man. That thing's awesome. But here you go. There's guns. There's HVAC. Yeah, if you're a patriot and you like air conditioning, this is going to be hog heaven for you.
There you go.
Man, look at it. Yeah.
I do the occasional post there, and then like I'll put stuff on my story and stuff. So
yeah,
give it a follow. There's my plug.
Yep, hey, that's good. Hey, see, old air conditioner right there. So you guys like old air conditioners? Some people really like them. So there you go. There's an old train unit. It's even one of the nice ones because it's got a plastic black top on it.
I'll say this too. Like, it's very hard to. Or maybe I'm just narrow-minded, but it's very hard to have solid daily content, heat and air content for like Instagram whenever you're a comfort advisor or project manager or whatever you call it, because you're not out there running service calls. Like, so all I'm literally doing is looking at old equipment and taking pictures and giving people estimates. Like, that doesn't give me solid stuff for Instagram daily. Like, so you look at some of these pictures and I was like, yep, it's old. Yep, that's old. Yep, that's old. There's a reason why, because that's what I'm doing is quoting to get rid of it.
Yeah. Some people like that. They like old air conditioner pictures. It's like a classic car to some people. I don't know why. I mean, some of them is kind of neat because you never see them. Like a really old, like if you see like something from the 70s, like, oh, that's neat. But I mean, most of the time it's like I've seen like a million of these train things that are from like 1995 that are like the size of a Cadillac and are 12-seer anyway, or 10-seer or whatever they were.
That's right.
Yeah. Give them a follow. Join the almost 1,000 other people who follow him. Hey,
dude, I've been stuck at 900, like between 900 and 910. For almost a year. Like it was, okay, I'm at 500, I'm at 600, I'm at 700, I'm at 800, and then I got to 900, and it's like it just stalled out. Like I never broke 1,000.
Hey, Instagram is like a treadmill, from what I've understood. If I stop posting, you start going backwards like immediately.
Oh yeah.
It's difficult.
100%.
Yeah, it's tough. I cut up some of the podcast stuff and put it on there now because I'm not out there doing service calls, so I don't have cool service call stuff to take pictures of. So I just take some clips, put them on there, something that I thought was especially, I don't know, memorable.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to go do something productive now, Zach, since you already dogged me about not running any sales calls today. So
I thought it was funny because you've been talking to me so long. I was like, are you driving somewhere? I'm like, what is the story with what you're doing right now? I was just curious.
Well, I was driving for about half of it, but I've been sitting in my driveway for the other half. So
yeah, go inside, dude. Get your work done.
Yeah, I'm going to go inside and sit at my desktop and catch up on some stuff. So
no problem. Hey, well, I appreciate it, man. You know, I'll be back on next week. We can kill about 5 hours of your work schedule next week too, if you want to.
That's right. I'll probably have it to spare, Zach.
That's the saddest sales story I've ever heard.
I'm a terrible salesman. You have a great day, Zach.
Oh man, he's just gone like the wind. Oh man. Well, let's wrap this thing up because I'm gonna go have a sandwich, and I had like all this stuff written down, but I should say who the sponsors of the show are because that is important. It helps the show continue. We have NAVAC with the brand new powered swaging tool, an innovative piece of machinery that can help swage your tools without even having to go like this. I'm doing a hand motion here for those of you who are listening as a podcast. We also have Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket's coming out with a brand new recovery machine real soon, which we should have over here, and I'll tell you more about that. So make sure you stay tuned. I don't know if it's at yellowjacket.com, but you can search for it and check that out, and maybe it is there. Also, let's see, we have refrigeration technologies, HVAC chemicals. It's time to start cleaning coils. So if you need some coil cleaner, search for refrigeration technology stuff at your supply house, or you can buy it online at TruTech Tools. And segue here to TruTech Tools, you can save 8% on your order by using the Shop Talk discount code. Who else we got? We got EWC. EWC is forced air zoning products. I have them up in my house there. I have a 3-zone system, 3 thermostats. I don't have a bypass on it yet because it is multi-stage, and I have it to stay in first stage unless there's multiple zones calling. And so far, it's been pretty unoffensive with air noise, and it seems to run pretty well without the bypass. I might still add it just for poops and giggles, but we'll see how that happens. You can find out more at ewccontrols.com, and they are probably at one of your supply houses in your town. Last but not least, we have Company Cam, and Company Cam allows you to consolidate pictures, documentation from across your company, sort of catalog it and make sure it's in one spot so you can organize it better. You can reference it if you need to when talking to customers. It's just a really good thing to have, especially nowadays. And you can find out more about that at companycam.com. Now, I had a whole bunch of stuff I was going to talk about, the flex search, the conversation with George, the drills, sizing on the fly. But I do want to mention one thing because we can talk about all the other stuff next week. I am releasing a video tonight. This is March 25th, 2022 on the HVAC Shop Talk YouTube channel, and that is going to be covering removing 5 milliliters of water with a vacuum pump. And I actually use 2 different vacuum pumps, and the test goes longer than a day, and I want you guys to see what the result was and just comment what you think of the result. I don't want to give anything away, but there's going to be, well, it didn't go as planned for me. There were some mistakes made on my part with the rig and how I tallied up at the end. You'll see. So let me know what you think. I can do it again. We can do it as many times as we need to. We can test a new rig, whatever we need to do. Or maybe it's just fine the way I did it. So check it out tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on HVAC Shop Talk. I hope you guys have a good day. Have a good weekend. I'll be back next week, hopefully on Monday. We'll see how the schedule goes. I'll try to let you know on social media if I'm going to stream a day or not. But you can plan on me streaming unless I mention otherwise. I think I did mention yesterday, but if I didn't, I'm sorry. And I will try to do that in the future so you know what to expect. 9:30 is the time, 9:30 in the morning on HVAC Shop Talk YouTube channel. And like I said, guys, have a good weekend. I hope everybody stays safe, and I'll see you again. Let's see, I guess it's going to be next week. Do I have any videos for you guys to watch before I leave? For those of you on YouTube, I do. I have a short little video right here, and I'm going to head out, and I will see you guys on the next one. Well, upon popular request, we have our Pittsburgh vacuum pump, and we're going to see if this 300-watt Ryobi inverter can actually power this pump. So we have it all hooked up here. Have the cord run over to the kilowatt meter. We're going to set it on watts, and I'm going to turn this bad boy on and see what happens. Oh, didn't last very long. It is tripped, so we're going to try it one more time. Just for craps and giggles, I'm going to get a larger battery. It shouldn't make a difference, but I want to give the best of the best here, so we're going to get the very loud, screechy 4-amp-hour battery. See how many amps we're pulling when we're trying to start this pump. It goes nowhere, so it can definitely not run this very small pump.